when he starts out. The only other touchdown was the pick six. So that's interesting. Not only did we not have Devontae get on the board, although he had 104 yards, which is awesome. It's interesting to see that our backfield has such a big, impact on this game. Not obviously just in the rushing game, but I mean, putting up touchdowns receiving. Does that mean anything to you? Does that speak to scheme, speak to just finding the checkdowns is what's working? I mean, is there anything that you draw from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for point number one, Aaron Rodgers is taking that check down a little bit more often. If it's a designed pass that, just kind of from the flat, he'll take it. But I think in these particular cases with Randall Cobb, it just kind of comes down to trust in Randall Cobb's ability to run after the catch. But we've talked about this in the past where we think we're going to see a little bit more, jet motion, a little bit more misdirection in the backfield. And this is, I think, a result of that as well. Something that I think we'll see more of going forward. We've seen it with EQ St. Brown. We've seen it with Randall Cobb. We've seen it with Malik Taylor in the past. And, I think if a defense has to defend both the run and the pass on any given play, they're kind of playing the guessing game. And then, even then, Aaron Rodgers might just fake a handoff to A.J. Dillon and run it past Jalen Ramsey into the end zone. It's going to be a tough offense to defend. So that was my little segue because I wanted to talk about that play really quick. That was, I think, a run-pass option, and then Aaron Rodgers decided to keep it. He throws the fake, or he throws the pump fake, and then runs right past Jalen Ramsey into the end zone with a broken toe. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. What did you make of that play?
I mean, I thought it was awesome. Now, what I haven't mentioned yet is I did watch the game afterwards, but I originally listened to it on the radio driving back from Thanksgiving festivities. So I couldn't quite picture how it was happening, but then when I saw it back in replay and I saw that pump fake get whoever was on pursuit to leave his feet, I just thought that was awesome, and to see him kind of hobble almost into the end zone was pretty amazing. So yeah, it was exciting to see. I'm surprised to see it given the amount of pain he says he's in. But hey, man, it works. I was only disappointed I didn't see the belt come on afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. I had a question for you. We talked a little bit about the running game today. I think we'd argue that Aaron Jones is probably a top 3, top 5 back. A.J. Dillon is probably one of the best number 2s in the game right now. Would it surprise you to know that the Packers rank 21st overall in rushing yards per game with 106?
No, it wouldn't, because of our 2 weird games, right? I feel like Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur have gotten away from the run before when we've won, and then that first game against the Saints and then the game against the Vikings, we just abandoned the run. So I mean, I'm surprised that we got ourselves in that position, but I'm not shocked that you just read that to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was just interesting to me because I would have thought that, being at, 100 to 110 would put you probably top 15 at the very least, and we're not even in the top 20. But yeah, that's just the statistics so far this season that kind of that stuck out to me. And I just was curious to get your opinion.
And I think more and more the league is shifting back to the run, if that makes sense. The run used to set up the pass, where now I feel like the pass sets up the run. And I think just overall you're seeing, and our guy from Madison, Taylor, is kind of proven that they're just Swiss Army knives in the backfield now, and not just the AP Adrian Peterson mode of just pound and grind. So it's a shift that I think I'm seeing across the league. But then again, just Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, I'm not surprised our numbers aren't as flashy as some of these other guys.
For sure. Let's shift gears a little bit, talk about the defense. So
before we shift to the defense.
Oh, okay.
1 sack allowed. No David Bakhtiari. No Elton Jenkins. Excuse me. I don't know why I said Jennings.
Eli Jennings.
Yeah. I mean, let's go. And that 1 sack, and I'm just looking at the stats, I think that was a sack that Aaron kind of basically got back to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So really well protected overall, and you can't talk about a great run game without talking about a great offensive line. That was a game again, and I think people have been saying it all year. We're playing forcefully, we're playing dirty, we're playing like smack in your face. You know what I mean? Like, we're not this pretty team that you saw, in 2020, 18, 2019 Packers. We're a newer, more rounded team, and it has a lot to do with how great some guys that weren't expected to start in some of the positions they are doing in our offensive line.
Yeah, for sure. And again, hopefully we're going to get Bakhtiari back after the bye. We'll see. I think his delay has been a lot longer than anyone anticipated, for sure. But the way this offensive line just plays through injuries and plays through missing guys and protects Aaron Rodgers has been pretty remarkable this season, and hopefully that will continue into the last gauntlet stretch of the season and then into the playoffs. But yeah, great point. Offensive line played really well.
Would you start David Bakhtiari if he couldn't start until the second round of the playoffs? Or at that point, would you just shut it down and be like, we got something going here?
No, I think you want your best offensive lineman on the field. As long as he's playing like the best offensive lineman on the field. You know what I mean? If he's going to go out there and be detrimental, then yeah, you don't.
But I guess that's my point. Do you want to see what you got in a playoff game? Right? Like I know practice is, you can learn a lot, but everyone always says there's nothing like the game. Is that, and now we're just going off topic here, but I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case. Like, I don't think they're going to sit him until the playoffs, but I think as soon as you can get him out there, you get him out there. But interesting point. I don't think it's going to come to that, so I don't like to speculate on like a kind of an out there hypothetical, but I think
it's a podcast. That's what we're supposed to do.
Sure. I think you get him out there as soon as you can, even if that means his first start being a playoff game.
All right, let's talk about this defense. Let's talk about Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, Rashaan Gary, Rasul Douglas. No one even knew who that was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. I mean that's got to be the defensive MVP so far this year. Rasul Douglas, simply because, and I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was on the radio or when I rewatched the game and I listened to the broadcasting group said it. He's basically stabilized a very well-respected but very injured secondary, right? I mean, with Kevin King being gone 50% of the games and Jair Alexander being gone, to have a performance like Rasul Douglas, like he's had the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, is just, it's season. I mean, it's almost season saving, and literally game saving against the Cardinals, and potentially game saving against the Rams. That pick six was huge. I mean, he put 8 points up 7 points up our way, and potentially took away 3 to 7 points in the Rams' favor with that pick six.
Yeah, for sure. He's been really good, and I heard Aaron Rodgers say it in his press conferences. Like, this guy was on how is this guy on a practice squad? 5-6 weeks ago. For him not to be picked up by anybody else is kind of mind-boggling, but hey, I think hand it to Brian Gutekunst and his staff for not leaving any stone unturned and going out there and finding these guys somehow. I mean, You talk about the guys that they brought in, Devondre Campbell and Whitney Merciless, although he's a done for the year. But yeah, Rasul Douglas, guys like that were able to kind of plug and play and then just fit really well and play really well. Going out there and being effective as a starting cornerback, not even as a backup, but like somebody who can go out there. He replaces Kevin King, who is just kind of a roller coaster of a player. But my hat goes off to the our GM and his staff for finding these guys and being able to make it happen. And then obviously the coaching, has a large part to play in that as well. But yeah, I mean, what a great signing he's been.
Oh, unbelievable. And then the guys that I also mentioned up front, I mean, and we're not even talking about our linebackers who had a fantastic game, but Rashaan Gary and I think Preston Smith both had a sack. I know Preston Smith picked up that sack fumble.
Yeah,
And
I
brought
think it
for
was
the
Kenny
6.
Clark and Rashaan Gary that had sacks.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, last week after the Vikings game, we talked about missed opportunities. Just turn around, pick up the ball. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not easier said than done, but they did it. They turned around. They picked up the ball, right? I mean, we got the ball at the 6-yard line. That was one of the times that I think we got in the end zone when we got the ball on the 6-yard line, right? I mean, even if we had to settle for 3, I mean, those are points directly as a result of our defense. And this is a game where even though our offense looked very good at times, this is a game that our defense definitely won for us. I mean, there were some true key plays where we literally put up points or set up our offense in such great field position that, I mean, 13 of those points are attributed to the defense.
Yep, for sure. Perfect. So let's talk a little bit about Rashaan Gary again, because here's a guy that I think a lot of people the last 2 years have been like, this guy is, he's a high draft pick in the first round. When's he gonna start to kind of pay some dividends? And
he's here, baby.
we are seeing it this year. I mean, he leads the team in sacks, I think now with 6.5, if I recall correctly. But I mean, just you watch him and he's relentless. He's getting held on. It seems like almost every play. So he
still makes the sack.
Yeah, he's drawing a flag, or he's pressuring the quarterback, or he's getting in there and getting a sack with a dislocated elbow. I'm really excited to see what he can do. The rest of the season into the playoffs, and then the years to come. But man, what a great draft pick he's becoming. AJ Dillon again, a draft pick. I think a lot of people are like, why the hell? Like, why did we pick this guy, a running back from Boston College, a guy who can't catch? Like, what is this going to do? Again, Brian Gutekunst, great job. This guy's looking like he could be a really, really good player here in the NFL. But again, a few missed opportunities from our defense this game. I think we dropped probably 2 or 3 would-be interceptions, but overall they played really well. Good bounce-back game from that Vikings game where we couldn't seem to stop anybody. This is a good Rams offense, so well done by them.
The only thing that was troubling to see on the defensive side of the ball was we pride ourselves on not giving up the big play, and it is the Rams, and they are flashy, and they are capable of this. It was disappointing to see them give up 2 big plays, especially, again, the one was right after that sure thing dropped interception, but 2 75-yard plus receiving touchdowns for, I forget the one receiver's name, but OBJ was one of them for sure.
Yeah, I think Chandon Sullivan was one of those that was a huge play, but Stokesy again gets burned on a big play. I don't think it was for a touchdown this time, but it was for probably like a 30-plus yard gain. Mm-hmm. Those are still concerning, and I think at this point of the season you'd like to see Stokes getting a little bit getting his head around, because he seems to be in a position to make a play every time, but he just doesn't know where the ball is. He doesn't get his head around, doesn't get his hand up to prevent the completion. I think that's probably just going to continue to come with time. I mean, he's got all the gifts athletically. He's super fast.
And he's got great closing.
I mean, right.
We've gotten way more than anyone could have hoped to expect out of a guy like Stokes. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like you just said about Goody a second ago. He's someone that everyone was like, well, there was a better corner on the board still when you drafted Stokes. I haven't followed that guy's career. I forget who it was actually right now, but man, he's already making a huge impact and stepping up as that number 1 corner. To your point, I'd love to see some improvement and turn your head around and whatnot. But again, just as a whole, as a philosophy, it seemed like we weren't giving up those big plays. I'm not trying to single out one guy. So to see it twice in a game is slightly concerning to me.
Yeah, and again, it's concerning to me, but I think in a couple of those instances, the defender was in a position to make a play, but then either tripped on their own feet, or didn't get their head around and just didn't know where the ball was. So, I mean, those are things that I think are going to come with practice and coaching. There comes a point where it's like, okay, time to turn it on now. But
yeah. Well, I mean, overall, obviously we don't want to lose any games. So great game, great win, great W. Going into the Vikings game, if you had to choose one of the 2 games to lose, honestly, you rather lose against the Vikings because we still feel good about the division. You know, the Rams game was huge. Like I said in the preview podcast, that's a 2-win game. Not only do we get the actual win, but now we have the head-to-head.